Picture that you're a little kid living in the Caribbean in deep poverty. The future is bleak. You're abused, homeless, diagnosed with cancer, hit by a car. Then, through determination, you somehow make it to the United States. You graduate university and you land a job in NASA, only to be erased and fired. Why did this happen? Let's get into it. This is the story of Rose, a woman who beat impossible odds to become a NASA analyst. She was born in the Dominican Republic in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country. Rose grew up where 25% of the people live below the poverty line. No running water, no electricity. A girl like Rose was taught three things: learn how to cook, learn how to clean, and find yourself a husband. But Rose, she was a rebel. She refused to settle. She was obsessed with space, with the universe. She asked so many questions to the point where she would get beatings. Because the answer of God created everything, that was not enough for her. She survived years of physical and sexual abuse starting as a child. At 16, she escaped to New York City. It wasn't too long after that where she found herself under a bridge. She was homeless. She lived under that bridge on 96th Street for 3 years. No education, barely spoke any English, and one day, as she's laying under the bridge with the newspaper on top of her, she's using the newspaper as a blanket, she looks at it and realizes there's a job ad for a health aide, no experience required. She trained, got scrubs, and started saving for an apartment. She earned her GED, enrolled in Hunter's College, and she ignored the advisors that told her she shouldn't focus on math or science because she didn't have a strong enough educational background. Rose received a bachelor's in astronomy from Arizona State University and a master's in space systems engineering from Johns Hopkins. With that, she's able to compete and land a NASA internship at a space flight center. She worked on the James Webb Space Telescope first deep field image. Last year, she's hired as a full-time analyst within NASA. And NASA's so impressed, so inspired by her story, they publish a feature on their website to showcase what happens when you're determined, when you have perseverance, when you're persistent, when you refuse to take no as an answer, when you want to rise above your environment and your situation to achieve something of note, something noteworthy. So they celebrated her. But here's where it gets messy. On January 2025, Trump's back in the White House. Executive orders are flying left, right, and center. They're all over the place. One of the big ones is eliminate DEI or anything that looks like DEI. Does it look like it? Does it resemble DEI? Get it out of here. This included a scrub of all the web pages. So anything that had a spotlight towards diversity or inclusiveness, it was gone. Rose, her page was deleted. It was gone overnight. Now keep in mind, Rose doesn't work in a DEI office. Rose is not focused on accelerating DEI in the government or anywhere else. She's an analyst, she works with data, she works with numbers. But because she was a woman, and she was celebrated, and she's from a diverse background, couldn't risk it. It's too risky. I had to get rid of it. The way that she discovered her page was gone is on a hospital bed. She's in the hospital for pneumonia. She's recovering from pneumonia. Phone rings, gets a phone call, answers the phone. It's a teacher that she had at the university. Teacher says, your page is gone. Now, how would the teacher know this? The teacher uses that page in class in order to inspire her students. So that's the first indication that the page is gone. Now she checks it and realizes, well, yeah, you're right, it's gone. Rose said it felt like a slap in the face. Inside NASA at this point, just like many other federal agencies, you have workers that feel they have to walk on eggshells. Very careful what comes out of their mouth. What are they saying? What are they listening to? It's tense. It's a very anxious environment. Rose said people were feeling protective, like they have to watch what they say. Funding for research has been cut. Employees over there have been cut. If you look at the latest budget proposal, that has also been cut. And this administration's current view on space is really it should be left to the private sector. And the number one space company in the private sector is SpaceX. So when she was on her bed, she felt kind of hurt. and she opened up her phone and she got on Threads. If you don't know what Threads is, it's like Twitter. It's like Instagram's version of Twitter. She got on Threads and she typed up a message and she sent it out. It was a message about her experience and it went viral. Over 85,000 likes and 11,000 shares. Her NASA coworkers, they reached out. Some of them were outraged. Some of them were apologetic. But within 24 hours, more or less, her article was back online. The feature, it was online. Here it is here, about 700 words. It's a 4-minute read. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. Rose described NASA as a family. She was living in the southwestern part of DC, which is kind of violent at times, and a mentor at NASA offered her to come and stay at their place. But Rose was about to face the biggest blow yet, because on February 21st, she's cleared to come back to work. She comes back to work on a Monday. She doesn't know what to think really because her post made waves. Monday she comes back. Wednesday, she's fired. During a one-on-one with her supervisor, and an HR rep is there, which is never a good sign, she's being told that she's terminated effective immediately. Why? For not fulfilling her position's responsibilities. When she tries to speak, the HR rep cuts her off and she's escorted to her cubicle to collect her belongings. So everyone's looking at her. She's now doing the walk of shame. And thousands of employees have been doing it this year. You're walking with your brown box with all your belongings and you're heading down to the elevator. That's what she's doing. She's keeping it all together. Once she gets home, she breaks down. I'm hearing ringing in my head, she said. This wasn't just a job. This was her dream. She was planning to retire at NASA. Now, NASA wouldn't comment on this matter, basically citing personnel matters. But here's the thing. Rose was a provisional employee and DOGE exempted provisional employees 2 days before Rose got fired. So was it her viral post or something else? Rose's story is part of a larger crisis hitting NASA right now. NASA, for many years, was the #1 agency in the entire federal government. It had a huge satisfaction score. People enjoyed working over there, but now they're likely to face massive cuts, so that will impact it. At NASA, the first person that was fired was the chief scientist and chief climate officer. Even the acting administrator admitted things are weird right now. Rose said that not all NASA facilities are the same, and this could be said with all agencies throughout the government, especially the larger ones. The VA, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense. When people ask me, like, how is it like working over there? Like, what part of there? What division? What subcomponent? What office? Because every office really has its own culture. So it's hard to understand by taking a macro view of the agency whether or not you want to work there or whether or not that's a good agency. A good place to start is the bestplacestowwork.org. That website, it ranks all the agencies. Now, President Trump's pick for NASA administrator, billionaire Jared Isaacman, is waiting Senate confirmation. This is a friend of Elon Musk. He actually went on some SpaceX missions. So if he inherits this agency, he's going to have to deal with a lot of trouble. He's going to have to deal with some morale issues and talent like Rose being squeezed out. So where does that leave Rose? For Rose, she's not giving up. Right now, she's doing STEM activism. So she's going to classrooms, going to educational institutes, and she's encouraging people to learn STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math, to hopefully get more people interested in that topic. She hopes one day returning to NASA. That's what she would really like to do. For NASA, they'll probably have to scramble to fill the gaps and deal with all the upcoming cuts. Now, speaking of people getting fired, we had a judge recently pause the reduction in forces, the rifts. We had 19 major agencies that were getting ready to get rid of probably close to 100,000, if not more, employees. The judge paused it for 2 weeks, and she wants to see the plans. The plans have been held very tightly to the chest. Nobody knows what's going on. If you want to know more about that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.